Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Carly blinked, taken off guard. What? I have a boyfriend, Josslyn explained, her tone stern. But it isn't Vaughn. He was just giving me advice. Carly's thoughts raced. This was an unexpected twist for her. Who is it then? She asked. Who's this mystery boyfriend you've been hiding? Josslyn paused again, and Carly wondered if she was making it up on the spot. Was this just a cover story to keep her from learning the truth about Vaughn? His name is Drew, Josslyn finally explained. He attends a separate school. That is why you have not met him yet. Carly narrowed her gaze. Drew? How long has this gone on? A few weeks, Josslyn said, her voice lacking conviction. Vaughn shuffled uneasily, plainly wishing to be somewhere other than in the thick of this conversation. Carly examined her daughter's face, looking for any indication of lying. Josslyn was always a terrific liar when she was younger, but Carly believed she could still read her. If that's true, Carly continued slowly, then why were you and Vaughn acting so secretive? Josslyn shrugged. Because I knew you'd flip out if you saw me speaking with him. Mom, you've been so overprotective recently. I did not want to face with another interrogation. Carly felt a sting of shame at this. She had become more watchful since Josslyn began dating, but solely to keep her safe. Was she actually being unreasonable? I just want you to be careful, Carly explained, her voice softening slightly. You're young, and sometimes emotions can cloud your judgment. Josslyn rolled her eyes. I understand, Mom, but I'm no longer a small kid. I can handle myself. Carly wanted to believe her, but something still didn't seem right. If Josslyn was actually seeing Drew, why hadn't she acknowledged him earlier? Why was Vaughn involved at all? Vaughn sensed the tension and finally spoke up. Carly, I swear. There is nothing going on between us. Josslyn came to me for advice about her relationship. That is all. Carly wanted to trust him, but the way he looked at Josslyn was something she couldn't ignore. Nonetheless, without proof, she had no choice but to let it go, for now. Fine, she replied after a lengthy pause. But I'd like to meet this Drew. Soon. Josslyn's eyes opened slightly. What? Why? Because if he's important to you, then I should know who he is, she said. Josslyn hesitated and then nodded. Okay. I'll ask him if he can come over this weekend. Carly looked at her daughter's face one last time before turning to leave. As she went away, her mind raced with unresolved questions. Was Josslyn speaking the truth? Or was this really an elaborate fabrication to conceal something far worse? Carly kept a careful eye on Josslyn over the following several days. Her daughter's conduct was strange. More clandestine texts, unexpected outings with acquaintances she hadn't mentioned before. Carly's suspicions rose, but she refused to accuse Josslyn without evidence. Then, the day before Drew's scheduled visit, Carly overheard Josslyn on the phone. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up, Josslyn said quietly. She's going to find out eventually. Carly's heart fell. Find out what? Was Drew even real? The next evening, a young man arrived at their house and introduced himself as Drew. He was kind, articulate, and appeared genuinely interested in Josslyn. Carly couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Josslyn's demeanor around him, too stiff, too formal, didn't feel like a genuine relationship. After Drew had left, Carly confronted Josslyn again. Is there something you're not telling me? Josslyn averted her sight. No, Mom. Everything is fine. But Carly knew better. She had spent years reading people, and her instincts told her that this was all a ruse. The question was why. Days passed into weeks, and Carly's anxiety only worsened. Then one night, she received an anonymous tip. A photo of Vaughn and Josslyn together that was far too close for comfort. The timestamp was set after Drew reportedly entered the picture. Carly's greatest fears were confirmed. Josslyn had lied. This time, confronting her daughter was more difficult. The betrayal/deep. How could you do this? Carly demanded, throwing the photo onto the table. Josslyn's cheeks turned pale. Mom, I can explain. No more lies, Carly said, her voice breaking. I trusted you. And you squandered away that trust for what? A flirtation with an elderly man? Do you know how dangerous this is? Josslyn's eyes were filled with tears. It is not like that. Vaughn cares about me. He listens to me like no one else does. Carly felt nauseous. This was exactly what she had feared. Vaughn had used her daughter's vulnerability. He is exploiting you, Josslyn. You are too young to see it. You don't know him. Josslyn shouted. You don't know anything. The brawl that ensued was nasty. Harsh words were exchanged, doors were slammed, and Carly was left wondering if their relationship could ever be mended. In the following days, Carly tried everything she could to keep Vaughn away from Josslyn. She threatened legal action, cautioned him to stay away, and even contacted his family. But the harm had been done. Josslyn refused to speak with her, believing that Carly was the enemy. What is the worst part? Carly couldn't shake her remorse. Had she drove Josslyn away by being overly controlling? Had she overlooked the signs earlier? Josslyn's behavior became increasingly irregular over the weeks. Josslyn skipped school and stayed out all night, and when Carly attempted to interfere, she accused her of ruining her life. Then one day Josslyn vanished. Carly's world shattered. She looked everywhere and called everyone, but nobody had seen her. The police were involved, but leads were limited. It was not until a week later that Carly received a call from a hospital in another state. Josslyn had been found, alone, afraid, and finally ready to speak. When Carly came, Josslyn burst into tears in her arms. I apologize, Mom. I was incredibly stupid. Carly hugged her tightly, tears spilling down her cheeks. It's fine, baby. We'll figure it out together. The truth emerged in parts. Vaughn had been manipulating Josslyn, convincing her that he was the only person who understood her. Drew had served as a distraction, causing Carly to lose track of the situation. But when Vaughn knew Carly was after him, he abandoned Josslyn, leaving her sad and hopeless. The road to rehabilitation was long. Therapy, family counseling, and many unpleasant conversations ensued. But gradually, trust began to resurface. Carly learned a painful lesson. Sometimes love requires letting go, even when every instinct tells her to grab on tighter. And Josslyn discovered that not every man who claims to care has her best interests in mind. Ultimately, it strengthened their friendship. But the scars remained, a reminder of how easily trust can be lost, and how difficult it is to regain. Lulu observes the confrontation from a distance, as Dante continues to rant about Joe's irresponsibility, which could have cost Rocco his life. Gio again claims he had no idea Danny and Rocco were at the party and drinking. Dante begins to rage at Lois, saying that she and Gloria have coddled Gio his entire life, and this is the result. Gio lacks the ability to take responsibility. Dante pledges to Gio that if he gave Rocco alcohol, he will make sure he faces prosecution. Lois exclaims that he never gave Rocco booze, and if he's going to play Mr. Detective, he should look into the facts first. Lulu ultimately intervenes, telling Dante to stop and that Rocco will be fine. Dante yells mainly because they were lucky. His only kid could have died tonight. Lois yells at Dante for being out of line, but Gio believes Dante is correct. This is his fault and Gio apologizes. The youngster flees and Dante instructs Lois to pursue him and make things better for him, just as she did throughout his life. Lois exclaims that at least Gio was there to aid Rocco, and she asks Dante where he was when his kid needed him. Lois believes Dante should be grateful that Gio was present. Most college students would have left an intoxicated youngster on the beach to sleep it off, but not Gio. She tells Dante that he has such a nice heart, and he should be ashamed for not recognizing Joe's good heart as well. Lois storms off. Dante notices Lulu's silence and asks if she feels he's being too hard on Gio. Lulu realizes he's afraid, as is her. But he went too far. Dante rants to Lulu about how Gio never learned responsibility because of Lois and Gloria. She claims he is a classical musician who lost his mother at a young age and had to adjust, which does not seem like someone who lacks discipline or is reckless. Dante resumes his rant on how Lois and Gloria spoiled and sheltered him more than any of the other children. Lulu inquires as to whether Brooklyn also protected him. Dante informs her that Brooklyn was a softie with all of the younger children, not just Gio. Elsewhere, Lois contacts her mother to tell her what occurred tonight, including how Dante yelled at his own son. She says, "If only Dante knew. Dante and Lulu check on Rocco, who is still talking to Laura. Rocco apologizes for scaring them, and Dante confirms that they know. Laura has to leave, so Lulu walks her out. Rocco tells his father that he realizes what he did was dumb, and that he has every right to be angry with him. Dante says he's angry, but he's glad he's okay, and his love for him will always outweigh any anger he may have. He swears to never turn his back on him because he is his son. Outside, Lulu watches Dante with Rocco, and records a voice note to remember herself to find out where Lois was when Gio was born. Gio returns to the beach and discovers Emma still hanging out. He admits what occurred with Rocco tonight, and Dante believes he gave him the alcohol and is upset with him. He always thought he and Dante got along, but now he realizes Dante doesn't respect him at all. Drinks at the Brown Dog Bar. Brooklyn and Chase enjoy a drink at the Brown Dog Bar after playing pool. Chase believes that after their baby arrives, their date evenings will be a thing of the past, since they will be exhausted from diaper changes and late-night feedings. Brooklyn is looking forward to it. Brooklyn discloses to Chase that she told Tracy about her decision to give up her baby and why, and Tracy was very supportive. However, she does not reveal that Dante is the father since she does not want to burden her with the truth, as she did to him. Chase does not feel burdened by what he knows. He admits that he tried to persuade Dante that Lulu had gone too far, but it's difficult to do so without giving him everything he knows. It is up to her to decide who she tells about her child. They both acknowledge how fortunate they are to have each other. Cody interrupts, informing them that Rocco is in the hospital. Brooklyn steps out to call her mother, but she does not answer. She returns and asks Cody if he wants to join them, but he refuses to be a third wheel. Ava and Rick come and take a table. Ava initiates a transaction on her brand new, gleaming credit card. Cody goes to the bar and begins his own tab. The bartender unintentionally gives him Ava's card back, which he notices is not his. However, Cody has never seen a card like this before, given its thickness and weight. The bartender says they don't receive many of these around here and proceeds to return it to Ava. Lois enters, sits with Chase and Brooklyn, and tells them how Dante reacted angrily and blamed Gio for what happened to Rocco. She's furious with how Dante behaved. Brooklyn says Gio and Dante will get over it and wonders why this bothers her so much. On the next General Hospital episode, Dante confronts Jason and blames him more than Danny. Portia contacts someone to notify them to broadcast the news. Liz inquires of Isaiah at the hospital about his hiding place. Nina tells Curtis at Metro Court what it will take to get Drew out of there. Drew promises Tracy that he would ensure that whoever poisoned him is punished. Back in the infirmary, Lucas says, "What the hell just happened?" The audience isn't only interested in seeing who prevails. They want to know why these two are at odds in the first place. As the scenario nears its climax, the air is dense with expectancy. Will Dante finally find the answers he has been yearning for? Will Gio confess his actual intentions? Or will this confrontation only raise additional questions? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. The moment of truth has arrived, and nothing in Port Charles will be the same again. The fallout from this confrontation will surely impact the futures of both people. Dante may begin to question his instincts, especially if Gio proves to be more than he appears. Gio, on the other hand, may emerge from this confrontation with increased respect, or as a dangerous adversary. The writers have left plenty of room for twists, guaranteeing that the plot will continue after this long-awaited moment. This is what keeps General Hospital viewers coming back for more. The steady buildup of unsolved tension, the explosive conclusion, and the unanswered questions keep viewers returning for more. Dante and Joe's moment of truth exemplifies why soap operas are such a popular genre. They provide emotional, character-driven drama that keeps viewers captivated. As the show fades to darkness, one can't help but worry what will happen next. Will Dante and Joe's paths continue to intersect in explosive ways? Or will this showdown bring an end to their feud? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. General Hospital has once more demonstrated its capacity to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. The friendship between Dante and Gio exemplifies the show's skillful narrative. Even in a society full of medical emergencies, mob battles, and love entanglements, human conflicts remain the most powerful. Dante's conflict with Gio is about more than just arresting a criminal or solving a case. It's about trust, pride, and the extent people will go to defend what is important to them. According to General Hospital teasers for the week of May 12th to 16th, Drew Kane's payback will be unpleasant, Emma Scorpio Drake will uncover a shocking discovery, and Jason Morgan will encounter some problems. For starters, Lulu Spencer will go deeper into her adoption story, which means discovering the truth about Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Dante Falconeri's first child. The facts about Giovanni Gio Palmieri's true parentage may continue to mount up, but how long will it take Lulu to solve this mystery? Could Lulu develop enough of a suspicion to conduct a private DNA test at some point? Whatever the situation, Lois Cerullo is bound to be a ball of nerves as she frets about the likelihood of this Gio bombshell going off. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn and Harrison Chase will proceed with their plans for a fresh adoption, albeit there may be some setbacks along the way. Other GH teasers claim Jen Sidwell will be hoping for positive news. After making a proposal to someone, Sidwell will wait for an answer and hope that his offer is accepted. No matter who Sidwell teams up with this time, you can bet there will be more drama. Sidwell is always up to something, so he'll undoubtedly be planning something nefarious. Drew will launch vindictive efforts against Portia Robinson and Tracy Quartermaine. Drew will be in a strong position to seek retribution thanks to Brad Cooper's assistance. However, there is a problem. Drew's theory is only half correct. Portia assisted Nina Reeves with the drugging and cheating scheme, so Tracy is about to be drawn into a mess she did not cause. Willow Corinthos will support Drew despite Nina's attempts to turn her daughter against him. Willow will become even more dedicated to Drew, leaving Nina increasingly upset with the situation. Of course, Nina will be concerned about Portia and whether she will reveal her secrets. Will Portia remain silent about Nina's involvement once Drew takes vindictive action against the doctor? Next, Trina Robinson may discover that Kai Taylor's surgery outcome was not so good after all. Kai smiled for Trina after taking a step down the corridor, but he appeared uneasy over her shoulder moments later. Kai appears to be having difficulty moving and may be in pain. Emma plans to bring in her extra credit assignment to Professor Henry Hank Dalton across town, but she is in for a shocking awakening. Emma will make a shocking discovery since Josslyn, Jax and Vaughn's cunning strategy has tainted the information. Professor Dalton will undoubtedly be disappointed in Emma, who will wonder how this could have happened. Will Emma eventually realize Josslyn was the one who found her thumb drive in the sand and become suspicious? The closer Josslyn goes to landing the research assistant position Emma desired, the more likely it is that she will accuse Joss of sabotage at some point. Finally, Jason will face several challenges. He'll be busy keeping Danny Morgan out of trouble and determining who Sonny Corinthos' secret danger is. Nancy Lee Grahn, star of General Hospital, recently returned from a vacation in Japan, and she quickly reminded her followers about her impending penthouse party later this month. Tickets are on sale now. Continue reading to learn all of the information. More than just a meet and greet. The event takes place at the end of May, and for those who can make it, it seems like a delightful and intimate time with their favorite daytime drama actress. The announcement was made on Instagram on May 6th, and a text meme indicated that event would take place in Las Vegas. The penthouse party takes place in the Green Valley Ranch in Henderson, Nevada, just a short drive from the Las Vegas Strip. There, her ABC admirers may enjoy food, beverages, and lots of entertainment. Fans can choose between a pizza party on Saturday, May 24th, and a breakfast on May 25th. However, if you have a deep enough wallet, you can purchase tickets for both of them. We've been building up to a single moment since General Hospital changed history to state that Brooke Lynn and Dante conceived a kid together while at summer camp. Finally, it appears that the time has come for the naive Dante to discover not only that he has another son, but that that kid is, surprise, Gio. The promo for the Wednesday, May 7th episode, which ABC released ahead of time, focuses on a violent dispute between Joe's unknowing father and his well-informed grandmother, Lois. You may recall that Dante read the youngster for filth for his part in Rocco's alcohol poisoning nightmare. Lois is clearly attempting to perform damage control, but she might have said too much and unwittingly tipped her hand. Please tell me who Gio really is. Dante aggressively cries at her. Cornered, Lois may finally reveal that the child he blames for his son's brush with death is actually his son. At that time, all hell will break free as the full narrative of Brooke Lynn giving up the kid and her mother arranging for Gio to be adopted by her cousin Camila Lulu knew Dante had a child with Brooklyn, but she didn't inform him right away. So any dreams you had for a Lant reunion should be dashed. Drew's payback goes wrong. Emma's horrifying discovery. Drew clenched his hands, his mind whirling with ideas of retaliation. For weeks, he had been scheming his revenge, meticulously calculating every move to guarantee that justice, or at least his twisted version of it, was delivered. He had been wronged, humiliated, and it was now his turn to lash back. But as the components of his plan came together, something went horribly wrong. What was planned to be a perfectly performed act of revenge became out of control, wreaking havoc in its wake. Drew had miscalculated the ramifications of his actions, and now he was confronted with a far worse reality than he had anticipated. Emma had always been perceptive, the type of girl who caught small details that others missed. This trait had saved her more times than she could count, but tonight it would lead her to a horrible revelation that she would wish she hadn't made. Drew's furtive manner, his avoidance of her queries, and the weird phone conversations he took in low tones had all given her the impression that something was wrong. At first she disregarded it as stress or paranoia, but she realized something deeper was going on. It began with a stray message, a scrap of paper nestled between the pages of a book Drew had carelessly left on the coffee table. Emma wasn't one to snoop, but the urgency in the scribbled phrases piqued her interest. Names, times, and locations, none of it made sense, yet it sent shivers down her spine. Then came the late-night outings, the unexplained absences, and Drew's eyes darting away whenever she inquired where he had gone. She told herself she was overreacting and that trust was the core of their relationship, but the gnawing feeling in her gut wouldn't stop. She reached her breaking point when she discovered the key. It was little and modest, buried in Drew's jacket pocket while she grabbed for stray change. When her fingers touched the cold metal, she froze. This wasn't just any key. It was for a storage unit on the outskirts of town, which she'd never heard Drew mention. Her heart pounded as she held it in her palm, her thoughts racing with possibilities. Was he hiding something? Was he in trouble? Or worse, was he the one who caused it? Against her better judgment, Emma drove to the storage facility the next day, her hands quivering on the wheel. The location seemed strangely peaceful, with rows of similar units standing like silent sentinels. She located the number that matched the key, paused for a second, and then pushed it into the lock. The door creaked open, revealing a gloomy interior. The fragrance struck her first, metallic, coppery, and unmistakable. Her breath froze in her throat as she searched for the light switch, her heart pounding in her ears. Emma's world broke when the fluorescent lights flicked on. The storage unit was a nightmare. Photographs, documents, and newspaper clippings are neatly organized like a hideous shrine. But it was the centerpiece that caused her knees to crumble. A mannequin clothed in familiar clothes stared back at her with a vacant expression. Her clothes. Drew had planned something involving her. The understanding came over her like a tidal wave, leaving her gasping for breath. This wasn't just retaliation against someone else. It was about her. Panic set in as she stumbled backward, her mind unable to absorb what she was witnessing. How long had he planned this? What had she done to deserve such twisted retribution? And most scary of all, was it too late to stop it? Emma couldn't recall running back to her car or driving away in a blur. All she knew was that Drew was not who she thought he was. The guy she had loved, trusted, and spent her life with was considerably more dangerous. And now she'd seen too much. Drew's retaliation had failed, but not in the way he had intended. Instead of exacting his revenge, he exposed himself. And Emma's dreadful revelation had just triggered a chain of events from which neither of them could escape. Her phone continued to ring in her pocket as she rushed away. Drew's name flashed over the screen repeatedly. She couldn't respond. Not now. Not ever again. Because the game had changed, and the hunter had suddenly become the hunted. The question now was, who would strike first? The tension between Dante Falconeri and Gio has been building on General Hospital for weeks, and it appears that the moment of truth has finally arrived. Fans of the long-running soap drama had been eagerly expecting this showdown, wondering if the two characters will eventually clash, or if their passionate exchanges would reveal a deeper truth. The interplay between Dante and Gio has been one of the most interesting narratives in recent months, full of smoldering hatred, unsaid emotions, and the constant question of trust. Dante, a seasoned detective with a strong moral compass, has always emphasized loyalty and fairness. His connection with Gio has been anything than smooth. Gio, a recent arrival in Port Charles, has brought with him a sense of mystery and unpredictability. From the minute he came, there was evident tension between him and Dante. Whether it was professional competition, personal disagreements, or something more profound beneath the surface. Their interactions have been fraught with tension, with each exchange peppered with veiled accusations and unsaid challenges. Dante, ever the astute investigator, had been dubious of Joe's objectives from the beginning. Meanwhile, Gio has appeared to be apprehensive of Dante, as if he is waiting for the other shoe to drop. The writers did a wonderful job of keeping viewers wondering, delivering tiny hints that their struggle may be more complicated than it appears. Now, as the two are on the verge of a huge clash, the stakes could not be greater. Will they finally put their cards on the table? Or will their confrontation merely widen the gap between them? The response may have long-term consequences not only for them, but also for those around them. Dante's family, particularly his wife Sam and father Sonny, have already noticed the strain the dispute has caused on him. Gio, on the other hand, appears to use less attachments, making him a wild card in this high-stakes game. One of the most intriguing aspects of this story is the question of who has the upper hand. Dante, with his extensive expertise and deep contacts in Port Charles, should potentially have an advantage. But Joe's unpredictable nature and apparent lack of fear make him a tough opponent. There's also the potential that their dispute isn't entirely adversarial. Perhaps they have a shared past or a common secret that pulls them together in ways no one else understands. The writers have expertly played with viewer expectations, laying breadcrumbs that point to various alternative ends. Some fans expect this fight to turn violent, while others feel it will result in an uneasy alliance. There's even a minority of people who believe Gio isn't the villain he's been depicted as. What if his battles with Dante are part of a broader scheme that will eventually benefit both of them? What makes this scene so captivating is the emotional weight that it carries. Dante isn't just a detective looking for another suspect. This seems personal. His displeasure with Gio has been building, and now that it has reached a boiling point, spectators are on the edge of their seats, eager to see how it plays out. Similarly, Joe's replies have been well planned. Every smirk, every harsh retort feels premeditated, as if he has been waiting for this moment as long as Dante has. The supporting characters provide an extra degree of complexity to the situation. Dante's wife, Sam, has been a steadfast support for him, but she has also recognized his obsession with Gio. Will she step in to mediate, or will she let Dante handle things his way? Sonny, who has always been a prominent force in Port Charles, could also play a role. His history of conflict and power conflicts may impact how this unfolds. And then there's the rest of the Port Charles police force, some of whom may have their own thoughts about Gio and whether Dante's obsession with him is justified. As the scenario progresses, the dialogue becomes increasingly intense. Dante's normally controlled demeanor is fraying at the edges, and his comments are sharper and more direct than usual. Meanwhile, Gio maintains a cool demeanor, almost as if he enjoys Dante's displeasure. The mood is tense with unspoken threats and the danger of physical conflict. Every gaze, every pause in conversation is filled with significance. General Hospital's strength has always been its ability to weave complex character interactions into high-stakes drama. Dante and Joe's confrontation is no exception. Whether this moment ends in a fistfight, a surprising discovery, or an unexpected ceasefire, one thing is certain: it will have long-term effects. The impact could spread across numerous storylines, altering relationships and alliances across Port Charles. For longtime fans, this confrontation feels like a satisfying conclusion to weeks of meticulous narrative. The writers have taken their time developing the suspense, so that when Dante and Gio eventually square off, the emotional effect is maximized. Even casual viewers can perceive the gravity of the situation, making it a must-see sequence of the season. In the world of soap operas where twists and turns are the standard, Dante and Joe's struggle is unique since it is based on character conflict. This isn't simply about good versus evil. It's about two multifaceted characters, each with their own goals, anxieties, and secrets.